Good evening, everybody, and welcome to John Elite News. Tonight, I've got to prepare all of you Asians out there to get angry, because what I'm about to share with you will rightfully make your blood boil. You've been lied to, misled by Asian dating coaches who convince you that all you need is height, muscles, night game to succeed. But here's the truth. They've been brainwashing you using psychological tricks called the halo effect to make you believe in them. This is why you're stuck. And tonight I'm going to show you exactly how they have misled you, exposing the shady dating coaches, indictment, and running from the law. That's tonight's angle. These guys, you know exactly who I'm talking about, are getting indicted for their shady actions in other countries, like throwing parties with underage Latina girls in Brazil. And yet somehow they create a cult following. Why? Because of their height and their muscles. Tonight, we're going to break down why this is the worst thing that has ever happened to Asian community. But first, let me ask you a question. How many of you are still stuck worshiping these tall, strong, and handsome Asian dating coaches, spending thousands of dollars on their scammy boot camps, where they're now charging $50,000 per head for a whole tour going to these countries? The halo effect and why you're being fooled. Let's start talking about the halo effect. This is a cognitive bias where you see one good trait of the dating coach, like height or muscles, from other Asian dating coaches, and automatically assume that everything about them is probably great too. It's dangerous because you start believing that Asian dating coaches just they actually know what they're talking about for the other tall and good looking ones. You assume just because they're tall, strong, or handsome, they have social skills and social intelligence to succeed in dating. But let me tell you something, they do not. Just because an Asian dating coach is tall, ripped, and doesn't mean that he knows everything or anything about dating. In fact, most of these coaches have been using the halo effect to fool you with great effect. They show off one or two good traits, like their height or muscles, and suddenly you think, oh, this guy must have it all figured out. By reality, they have nothing of substance. So how do they use the halo effect to scam you guys? These guys are telling you that if you just look good, if you just get muscular, you have everything you need. But here's what they're hiding. They can't even pull off a successful day game interaction themselves. They hide behind night game, where the environment does half the work for them. Dark rooms, loud music, and alcohol. But let me ask you this. What about the real world? What about daytime approaches? Can they walk up to a girl on the streets in broad daylight and actually get results? Instead of just saying, let's get married. No, they don't have the social intelligence or the social calibrations or the emotional control to make it work. But they convince you that height and muscles is all that matters. And this is why you're stuck. And this is why you keep spending $50,000 on their boot camps that don't work. But you're being brainwashed. Let's talk about brainwashing. You've been conditioned to believe that these guys are the answers to your dating problems, simply because they're tall, strong, and muscular. But you've been brought into their narrative that you can just look like them and all your problems will be solved. But here's what they don't want you to know, because looks is only 10 points out of the 35. When it comes to getting laid in day game, and you know what? Most of these guys who are relying on their looks can't even hit the minimum threshold for day game. Let me break this down for you. Looks is out of 10. Money is out of 5. Status or ethnicity is out of 10 points. Social skills is 2.5. Social calibration is 2.5. Emotional control, 2.5 points. Game is 2.5. If you can hit 20 out of 35, then you're gonna get laid for day game automatically, like my students. You're getting results. But these other coaches, they don't even come close. They might score high on looks, and they maybe even try to use their status maxing in Latin countries, but they're missing the most important elements: social skills, social calibrations, and emotional control. So let's talk about the news, okay? According to St. Paulo News, foreign coaches who gave a conquest course to women in St. Paulo become defendants, justice ordered seizures of a Brazilian passport. They'll answer for the crimes of attracting minors under 18 years of age to exploitation, inducing exploitation through fraud with profit. The federal police and the federal public prosecutor's office had access to the testimonials of the victims and witness of the events held in the capital of Sao Paulo in 2023. So right here in the sales letter, it says, you're the average of the top people you associate with. Join the Millionaire Social. So this is a website of coaches who sold courses for men. The federal court of Sao Paulo made defendants of 2 foreign coaches in the Brazilian who organized courses on how to conquer women. They will answer for the crimes of attracting minors under 18 years of age to exploitation, inducing exploitation through fraud with profit. The trio has been investigated since a party at the mansion in Morumbi neighborhood, south zone of the capital, Sao Paulo, in February last year, in which was part of a course where teenage girls were present. In the case of being heard by the 4th Federal Criminal Court of Sao Paulo against Brazilian Fabricio Marcelo Silva de Castro Jr. and Chinese Quifeng canceled, and the American's name who is something Firestone, who identifies himself as James Bond. We will not be using the real names for this article, and Steve Maple for this one. Regarding Fabricio, the judge accepted a request that was made by the civil police and the federal public prosecutor's office for the passport to be seized, for the federal police to be notified and prevent him from leaving the country, even with an ID. The measure is necessary for the application of criminal law. Given the accused party has an American passport and visa, being accused of acting in unity design with the Americans. By the Americans, we are talking about Quifeng, canceled Casanova. In a note, the Brazilian's defense classified as disproportionate the request to seize his client's passport. It's also said that appealing the decision in court. Read full statements below. The defense of the other 2 mentioned was not located until the last update of this report. They obtained significant financial gains from the sexual exploitation of Brazilian women in a practice known as sex tourism. Since the meeting been held in developing countries, in which women are treated as sexual objects and attracted by economic facilities offered by foreigners, wrote federal prosecutor Raquel Francois Gizio Havani in the statement. Remember the case. In the event of Morumbi in the south zone of Sao Paulo was promoted by Quifeng, canceled Casanova, and James Bond from the Millionaire Social website. The lease agreement for the property was signed by Quifeng, canceled Casanova, and Fabricio Castro. The Brazilian was also previously indicted by the civil police of the 34th District Prosecutor of Sao Paulo, suspected of helping the duel. The boy was heard online in July 27, 2023. Among the victims' age was 17 to 24 years old, and witnesses. 17 people were heard by the 34th District Prosecutor. In a previous note, that the Brazilian's defense said that he disagreed with the indictment and that he would judicially demonstrate his innocence. So we're looking at the sales letter now. It says next city, Bangkok, Thailand. August 2023, Phuket, Thailand. August 2023. Need we say more? So teenagers in the mansion. Here's another picture. What happens inside the Millionaire Social Circle? They show a bunch of Latina women, including under 18 years old, that are used for their courses. The father of a 17-year-old girl recognized her as his daughter. An image is taken at the party. The girl confirmed to her family that she had met Quifeng, canceled Casanova, and one of the mentors in the internet, and went out with him and traveled. Her presence at the party was shown by Francisco, and her father talked to G1 about the party. The young woman says that she didn't want to be recorded and didn't want to take pictures. The 2 appeared in a video eating Japanese food posted on the course profile and hugging on the beach. As it says over here, join the Millionaire Social. This club is a ripoff. $50,000 for this tour, and they made over $500,000 from Asian victims. Another underage girl, as found by the report, was at the party and at the invitation of an adult friend. And then teenager consumed alcohol and went out with one of the students. The relationship was consensual, but she was not know that the group was part of a conquest course. Deleted content. One of the millionaire social websites, all the text, the photos related to the trip to countries such as Costa Rica, Colombia, and the Philippines, which were ever taken, were returned. The site, however, returned without the clip of the program in Brazil. The TikTok account of the MSC, the Millionaire Club, that was in private mode, the YouTube channel that only had a video of a video game, and the profile of the course on Instagram, which has been closed or returned to activity. As the next screenshot says, places will go on tour for 2022. Costa Rica, Colombia, Colombia, Manila, Philippines. The police investigation. It wasn't forced, but I was enticed, manipulated to be there, says one of the women used as a guinea pig by the coaches for a hookup course. At least 2 women registered with civil police of São Paulo, and they met the students of the coaches on the internet. They went to a group dinner and days later were at the party. In both situations, videos were made in advertising pieces for the course on how to conquer women. According to them, the organizers denied that the records were for publicity. The 2 young women and others heard from the G1 says that they did not know that the foreign group participated in the course. Queefing, cancel, Casanova appeared on YouTube channels filming women, apparently hidden cameras in several countries. Of course, he's been canceled before for queefing, cancel Casanova for posting women without censoring their face. As they say over there, São Paulo is one of the most cosmopolitan of the world, with people like Japanese, Arab, Brazilian backgrounds all melting into one. The nightlife here runs 24 hours a day, something that other cities in Brazil can compete with. It is impossible to run out of things to do in the city. Come explore with James Bond and queefing, cancel Casanova, and meet the Brazilian women around the world that are known to be fun, curvaceous, and passionate. Announcements of the coach's website before being deleted. The course is offered to foreigners from several countries, charged from $12,000, about $63,000 in Brazilian money, in exchange for a conquest advice in a 2-week trip to a country. In addition to Brazil, there were editions in Costa Rica in February 2022, Colombia, July 2022, and the Philippines, August 2022. So $12,000, seriously, guys. And in a 6-country package called the World Tour, costs $50,000, according to the group's website. $50,000 a head. So when we start looking at the pictures of how many people actually joined this scam, in the picture, there's at least 11 people that has been there. So we do the mathematics, 11 times $50,000, that's going to be $550,000, $500,000 that they made. Come explore with James Bond and queefing, cancel Casanova, and meet Brazilian women around the world who are known for being fun, curvy, and passionate, said the announcement of the trip to Brazil. In the video, the duo showed the kit to be carried in their luggage. Morning after pills, used to prevent pregnancies, and sexual intercourse without a condom. Condoms and perfume with pheromones, which supposedly secrete substances to attract women's attention. What women said. So here's a picture of a party that's held in the mansion in Sao Paulo. The woman who filled the police report says she's been seen in videos published in which she appeared with the students of the Conquest mentoring, in which made her want to denounce it. She says she met a boy on Tinder and was invited to dinner with his friends. We went out a few times until he invited me to dinner, who told me it would be with their dinner friends. It was normal dinner, and we talked about quiet matters because I wanted to practice English, as she said. They were filming all the time, and I tried to dodge it because I don't like to be filmed, she recalled. I'm not sure if it's a he recalled or she recalled, if they post the pronouns correctly. The next day, Brazil was invited by the man to the party of the mansion. At the party, there was many women, and not all of them could speak English. There were employees, DJs, waiters. One of the women told me that she went to the party because of an announcement, and I thought it was strange because they said that they paid for transportation too. I thought it was something more reserved. Usually what they do is that they try to use ads, and they use it in those countries, in Latin countries. Women see these ads, and then they say that bus and everything's paid for. All expenses paid. And the women shows up at this party, including underage girls, which is very common. That's what's been happening. So the other women that went to the party at the mansion also met the man who called her through Tinder. He said that she matched with an American and was invited to dinner. And this is queefing, cancel Casanova. The young man says he was part of a business group and invited her to a first date. There, he said there were other women who were with his friends, and she didn't know it, but there were other students in the course. I met other Brazilian girls there, and I even liked it because, this is what they said, because I didn't know English very well. It was a very chic restaurant, even exaggerated. The boys I went out with treated me very normal right from the very beginning, creating a bond. There were people from several countries. I didn't feel uncomfortable in the moment. And here's a picture of, it's just like 11 people there, 10 or 11 people. And this is what they say. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So proud, whatever, is an Instagram picture. But if you count how many people are in the classroom, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So my mathematics is incorrect. It's not $550,000 if we do the mathematics of how much money this scam and this fraud has made. If we look at the calculator online, $50,000 times 12 equals $600,000 exactly. That's how much money they made at one go for this scam. The other people are laughing their way to the bank. They are all indicted by this, and they only got the Brazilian so far. You should not listen to the halo effect. As they say over here, coaches say they are proud of the group that was in Brazil. The meeting was before the party. Days later, she received an invitation to enter personal data to be part of the events list. As they say, I didn't stay until the end of the party. I interacted more with the girls I met at dinner. But I'd met a minor who says she knew people in the organization. He said he would soon be 18, but he was at an all-you-can-eat food and dinner or drink party. I didn't see her staying with anyone, but she says she felt uncomfortable when she saw a couple having sex in one of the bathrooms. So what did queefing cancel Casanova and James Bond said? Over here is a picture of them, and he's saying in this captioned screenshot, emergency contraceptive. So video taken before the trip to Brazil. So queefing cancel Casanova from the Millionaire Social Circle website spoke to G1 in March last year. Asked for more than once if he informed the women that the party was a practical class of conquest course, he did not answer. It was a party co-organized with my Brazilian friends, he said. Some brought their own girlfriends. A party with adults who chose to be there at their own free will. Food, security, and adequate transportation were provided. This is exactly what they do in these Latin countries, basically, in my commentary, that they'll run an ad or something, and then they all see it. They start showing up in droves. It doesn't matter if they're underage, as long as they sign some kind of consent form, which is, they don't even check the IDs, and then they start filming this stuff for fraud purposes and to trick more Asians, wasting $600,000 for these sheeps. So when asked about the minors at the event, queefing cancel Casanova did not deny it, but he says there's a possibility this is possibly security cameras at the venue. In the application forms, we said that it was necessary to be over 18 years old, and we asked security to supervise everyone, as he said. So over here, Mr. Fabricio's participation boils down to the intermediation of the lease agreement, since the landlord of the property demanded that the contract be signed by a Brazilian, and the formalization of the lease in the question by a foreigner was not admitted. In addition to the intermediation of the rental of the property, Mr. Fabricio, because he knows several people in the region of Sao Paulo, only made it possible to hire DJs and sound systems. Okay? With the exception of the two occasionally portrayed above, He participated in the event only as a guest. He also informs that he has known Mr. Queething Casanova since 2017, when he visited Brazil for tourism, or sex tourism in this case. Brazil for tourism purposes, taking him on a visit to the Recife favela complex in the municipality of Rio de Janeiro, during a period in which he was at the event described in this report. He was not aware of, nor did he see evidence of underage women in the enclosure. Note from the defense of Fabricio de Castro Jr., Mr. Fabricio Castro legal counsel, through a lawyer, Nahero Pandolfi, understands that the precautionary measures of seizure of his passport is totally disproportionate to the present moment. We also declare that all appropriate legal measures are adopted in order to remove the restrictions as soon as possible. For Mr. Fabricio Castro is at the disposal of the authorities for clarification. So that is the article. This is exactly why you should not trust an Asian dating coach just because they're tall and strong.